Hey guys, it's Sunday night, and that means it's time for another episode of the M Cluster. So pull out your mind bleach and get ready for yuck. Tonight we are talking about the Karate Kid, and with me we have Brandon
Hi guys.
and we have Dante. And since this is Dante's pick, we're going to go ahead and let him do the intro.
Hi, everybody. It's me again. This is the 2010 version of Karate Kid with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan. It follows the general overarching story of the original Karate Kid. You know,
Bullshit!
there's a bullied kid who ends up getting trained by a mentor one-on-one, and basically ends up taking on the bullies in a tournament, and ends with a fancy kick. So I enjoyed the movie. I honestly have not seen the other one in quite a long time, and Jose has watched the other one recently because he loves it and is part of his childhood apparently. And so, but as far as this movie actually goes, I liked it quite a bit. I was really impressed with Jackie Chan's acting because he's usually just a silly, funny, crazy guy doing all sorts of fun martial arts using a lot of like props and such. And this role was very different from anything I'd ever seen him in. And I also think Jaden Smith would played a very good role too, good character and everything. And overall, I like the story. I like the acting. I like pretty much everything about it. It's just a fun, enjoyable movie.
All right, Brandon, go ahead and let's hear your dribble on this one.
My dribble, all right. Well, I'm actually in very much agreement with Dante. Jackie Chan's acting in it was very good and very different than pretty much everything else that I've seen him in. He had some very serious parts in the movie, and I think he pulled those off pretty well to create the character of Han. Jaden Smith's character was, for the most part, alright. I mean, there was a couple of times I wouldn't say it was necessarily Jaden, maybe just the lines given to him when he was talking at the end about, I don't want to be afraid anymore. It was kind of, I think they could have picked a better line for that, but other than that, he did well.
What do you think of the overall story?
Well, when the serious part for Han came in, I did not expect something like that to be involved in the Karate Kid story. At least not in the initial movie. If they were going to do a new series, I could see that in a later movie doing background on him, but they kind of threw you in there right into the middle of all these problems that he was having. And that the whole surrounding scenes that follow were just surprising, and I thought just well done to the point that it made you connect with the characters more.
Okay, so in case it's not obvious, I'm the voice of opposition on this one. And Dante's absolutely correct. The original Karate Kid was part of my childhood. It's something I treasure. And I just want to be clear about the way I feel about this. The original Karate Kid was not a good film. Okay? It was exactly what it was supposed to be. There was a story of, it was kind of a coming of age thing that involved Daniel, who moved to Reseda with his mother, being able to not only defend himself, but find the confidence inside of him to be a better person, if you would. The problem I had with this movie, well, there's lots of them. First of all, there's no karate in the Karate Kid. Okay? They're doing kung fu. They're in China. Okay? So why would you call it the Karate Kid? Okay?
Because it's based off the original movie.
But there's no karate. There's no karate in the Karate Kid. If they wanted to relate it to the other movie, they could have called it the Kung Fu Kid. I'm sorry, what was that?
Regular just karate does not exist anymore.
That's not true.
Very specifics. It's, Taekwondo or Jiu-Jitsu.
Karate is a specific form of art. There are offshoots of it. There's Okinawan karate. There is Taekwondo. There is Jiu-Jitsu. I mean, the forms. When you say that that there's no such thing now, is it like those? All of these forms are ancient forms. Now there's like the recent ones that are like Krav Maga and things of that nature that have been developed in the last 20 years or so. Uh,
But that's the thing is Kung Fu is not supposed to be one specific style either. And
says who? Where did you get that information?
have you not seen a lot of other stories that go into the background of more backgroundish on Kung Fu?
Yes, Kung Fu has a bunch of traits to it, but it is all part of Kung Fu. It's not like MMA, where you're mixing up a bunch of different styles of combat. Kung Fu is an art that has different concepts brought into it. Um, and and I'm sorry, they actually define what karate is in the original movie, and they repeat that in this with Kung Fu and what it means and the spirituality of it. And we kind of got off on a tangent here. I want to take a step back a little bit. The 2010 version of The Karate Kid is a better made film. I'm going to give you that. And I don't disagree with you on the acting of I was going to call him Jet Li. For some reason, I'm drawing a blank on his name now.
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan, thank you. He did a great job, and especially not being the kind of character that he normally is. He showed his acting chops in this film, and that's great. But and this is a problem I've had with other films. It's just they took this concept and they twisted it and they tried to make it into something that it's not. The original movie was quirky. It was fun. There was a serious undertone to it, but this film they tried to make it very dramatic and very over the top, and I'm sorry, it just didn't work.
Well, it did work. That's actually the reason that it did well, is because if they were just going to do a rehash without putting a more serious of an undertone to it, it would not have sold as well.
Well, I'm not saying the movie wasn't popular. I mean, the movie did well. I'm just saying it's not The Karate Kid.
It's just a new generation. That's just how the new generation of films even go nowadays, as even in regards to not karate but other things. Lots of things have more of a serious undertone now because that's what people want to see.
And I understand that, and especially we talked about this with some of our other movies, particularly The Dark Knight, seeing the darker side of this character that we know. I can tell you, people that feel the way about the original Karate Kid, like I do, don't give a shit about that dark undertone in this new movie. And I'm sorry, I have to disagree with a lot of people on this. I don't think Jaden Smith did all that great of a performance. I mean, he wasn't awful. I mean, he's a talented child actor, but I didn't think he was anything special. And I think that was a big deal in this movie, was that that it was Jaden Smith as the main character. But part of the things I had problems with in this film is I know Jaden Smith trained quite hard for this film, but then in the big scenes, they didn't let him do the action. It was actually wire fu. I
Really?
mean,
I didn't even notice that.
yeah, I mean, look at how high he's jumping and the moves. I mean, it's silly. And in the original Karate Kid, even though it wasn't as large and flamboyant, they trained the actor to do the motions, and that lended some credibility to it, some reality to it. And I just didn't buy it in this film. They tried significantly to give homage to the original film, and they even made fun of it a little bit with the chopstick scene with the fly. But
I thought that was a fun way to introduce Han.
But it felt like they were trying really hard and they never got there. I didn't enjoy this movie. I was bored. I didn't get invested in the characters. And there's, I don't know, it's hard to say what I want to say because I mean, he's going to win, right? So, there was no threat. There's no drama to the end of the thing where he's actually in the tournament.
Well, that's because you've seen the movie before, pretty much. Because it's a rehash of the same story.
Well, yeah, no, I understand that, but I never felt any tension. It was okay, so how are they gonna make this seem like the original, type of fight? I didn't get pulled into the story.
I
Um,
did.
and, and
I
maybe
actually kind of
I,
I liked it. I felt attached to the characters and everything you're saying you didn't feel. I did feel like even though yeah, you pretty much know it's going to end with a fancy kick and oh his leg got hurt and all that sort of thing. But I think just the conversation and like the part where he's talking about even though Brandon Smith didn't like the the phrasing itself, but like I don't want to be scared anymore, and it's like he's like when just the idea of like why do you want to win so bad and just expressing that and that's more than just the fight itself. It's all that was there, and I did feel emotionally invested in what was happening to everybody.
well, see, and this is something you and I have talked about. I don't think we've talked about it on any of the shows, but it's. I think that's a little disrespectful to the audience. He didn't have to come out and say that. I mean, I think that's you kind of know what's going on, and when the actors have to actually come out and literally say, "This is why I'm performing these actions." I think that's a cheat. It's a cop out.
Well, not necessarily, because it also. I mean, you forget there are going to be young kids watching this too. Some of the younger kids aren't going to get the message or that what they're trying to portray. I've seen it happen where they don't explain something, and a little kid is trying to watch it. They ask why.
Well, I mean, certain movies aren't for little kids. This wasn't a kid movie. This isn't Kung Fu Panda. It's supposed to be the Karate Kid. If they want to make a children's
I
movie, they
watched
should have
Karate
done
Kid
that.
when I was like 6.
Well, kids watch movies that aren't child movies, but my point is that wasn't the target audience, or at least it wasn't supposed to be originally. I don't know what their intention was this time around, but I just think it was dumbing it down in a way that didn't need to be done, um, and it wasn't all bad. I want to say I didn't enjoy the movie, but there were parts of it I did like. When they went into the mountains, into the monastery, and you saw the people actually practicing the traditional kung fu, that was a very good way of doing it, and it was very well filmed. Um,
They got special permission to film on the Great Wall of China and in the Forbidden City for this movie. That's a pretty rare thing, I think.
Oh yeah, agreed. And like I said, this is a better made film than the original film, but the story just it I really wish they'd stop trying to redo things that should be left alone. The original Karate Kid was great the way it was. It was hokey. It was fun. It focused on the big hair of the '80s, and the soundtrack was spectacular. And oh, by the way, Daniel-san was not a little bitch like Jaden Smith's character was. Okay, it's like you gotta want to be afraid anymore. But was Daniel afraid? Sure, but he never backed
Different
down. He took
situation.
his ass kicking. What's that?
Different situation.
Well, I'm not going to argue that.
Moving from city to city or even cross country is not as bad as across the world.
Yeah,
Across the world, you don't know anything about anything.
but the situation was still the same. He was getting his ass handed to him by a bunch of kids.
Yeah, but he couldn't even. Who was he going to talk to? His mom?
Yeah. Well, that was another issue I had with movie. There's a lot of "I'm black and I'm proud" in this film, which I don't understand why they had to focus on that at all. I really wish they would just leave race out of everything. Period. But
I didn't really catch that.
oh
I did a little
no,
bit.
when he's talking to, or when she's talking to him about dropping her jacket and opening her eyes real big and give her, I mean, the very like she almost came across as the angry black captain in the buddy cop movie.
Oh, with the mother. Okay, sorry.
Yes.
I was thinking of Jaden.
Oh, when he was popping and locking to impress the girl, it's like, oh,
White
look at
people
me,
do that
I'm
too.
African American and I dance, and it was just, I was happy they made fun of him because that scene should have been made fun of. It was just okay. So there is an argument, and I actually thought about this, that this is where he comes from. This is how he knows how to relate to people. Okay, I
And he's a
get that.
disrespectful punk in the beginning of the movie too, just trying to impress everyone. And if you want to go with the whole like American thing, just like He didn't feel like he needed to learn the language. He didn't think he needed to learn how to use chopstick. He was a stereotypical American at the beginning of the movie as well,
Well,
as far as how people see us in other countries, it seems.
Yeah.
well, and actually, that's actually a problem I have with anime as well. It's the way they portray the stereotypes. But it just, I don't know. It felt weak. It felt flat to me. I was watching this movie and about halfway through, I was like, "My God, how long is this thing?" And then I checked the time, and I was like, "Oh, that was a mistake."
A lot of it was
Um,
Jaden's development, though. As for his character, he spent a lot of the movie growing, not just in the some of the techniques that he was being shown, but just as a person.
yeah, there's no doubt that there was a story arc that he went through.
Well, yeah, but I was invested in it. I
Well,
enjoyed.
Yeah, if you're not invested in it, it's going to seem like an eternity. But if you
yeah.
are, then it's just you're enjoying the ride, I guess.
Well, then maybe you guys are more easily entertained than me because it
I don't
just.
know. I've seen you laugh at some pretty stupid stuff.
We're not going to go there, Mister. Not another teen movie. But
Yeah, I watched Varsity Blues the other night, so now I get a little bit more of about the movie at least.
Yeah.
good. Um, but yeah, this movie overall just did not do it for me. And I knew this was going to happen. I knew I was going to feel this way. I didn't
He
know the
told me
particulars.
before he started watching it, like, this could be the greatest movie in the world. You know I'm going to hate it, right?
Yes, I did because it was attacking my childhood, in my opinion.
It's an
And
attack.
I didn't.
It's basically someone that was like you, that they loved that in their childhood, and they're remaking it to try to bring that feeling to a new generation so that they feel the same way.
They were remaking it to make money. That's why they were remaking it.
That's another goal, but I mean,
Um, I'm
all right, what if they do a sequel?
I won't see it.
Well, I mean, I'm not talking about a remake of The Karate Kid 2, but like, a true sequel that has nothing to do with the old stories outside of just following up on the 2 years ago.
I know what you're saying. I won't see it because it just there was nothing. I didn't get invested in the film. I don't care about the characters. Why would I continue to follow them? It
That
just
seems reasonable.
they
I,
didn't make me care about any of these people. It was a very clinical film in my opinion. I saw the beats. I saw the direction was good. The camera work was good. The locations were awesome. But the actual story just never got through to me.
What do you
And
think would have been better?
if they were going to remake the film, or let's drop the whole remake aspect of it. If they just wanted to tell this story, okay. Number one, they didn't need to necessarily go with the superstar power. And there were aspects of this story that I just thought were creepy. He was a little too young to have a love interest in the way that they portrayed it. I think it needed to be more about the relationship between him and Han, a little bit more about his inner growth and not about the I saw no coming of age in this movie, I guess is what I'm trying to say. To me, aside from being a little more understanding, he was the same character at the end of the film that he was at the beginning. Was he a little more respectful? Sure. Does he have the skills to now have the confidence to defend himself? Yes, great. But he's still a punk little kid that I don't care about.
what would make him less of a punk little kid to you?
A better story arc, a better, anything that would have made me care about him. I don't know, make him an orphan and, have him searching for something, not someone who needed to be spanked into submission. I did enjoy the message of the jacket. It's like you need to be respectful to your mother. But the fact that they used that and only that to introduce the skills that he was learning, just really hollow. You
One-
don't number one, nobody puts on their jacket like that. Okay, much less over and over and over. And I didn't go back and watch it because I don't want to do that to myself. But I was curious to see if he put his jacket on like that at any other time in the film, like when he wasn't training. Like if that was just his natural motion was to put the jacket on like that, and I don't think it was. But
one of the things like regarding the jacket thing and how that came about, like I actually did like the whole jacket scenario thing, and that's related to the whole wax on, wax off sort of like, what am I doing? This is just useless, and then oh look, it's not. But when like I don't remember if this was in the original, but like when Mr. Han basically said, like he said, Kung Fu is in everything we do. I was actually curious, is he that good of an actor? But like, part of me felt like it seems like Jackie Chan might actually believe that for himself, and I actually wondered that, like, is this just good acting, or is this real words coming out of Jackie Chan right now just through this character? Because it seemed very real to me when he said that.
I would have to agree with you on that. I don't know a whole lot about Jackie Chan, but I do know he takes his art seriously, and I do know it's a big part of his life. So there is a very, very good chance that, yes, this is his actual philosophy that he is imparting on the screen that just happens to coincide with his characters. But again, I never saw Jaden Smith get there. I never saw, what was his, Xiao Dre, which again,
Little Dre.
Yeah. But it never, the wisdom and depth and caring about the art itself that you saw in Jackie Chan, I personally never saw imparted on Jaden Smith.
Okay.
I think where they tried to do that was his little snake technique.
Yeah, there's a difference between doing nothing and, hold on, being still and doing nothing are two very different things.
Right.
Like that whole deal and learning that. I think that was their attempt to show that he got that when he actually did it in.
I didn't. It didn't do anything for me.
I think, yeah, the way I think that part was a little like, okay, that's just weird. That part lost me a bit, I have to admit. When he did it in the fight, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was goofy and it just was just another moment. And I don't know if you've ever actually reviewed the tape, Dante, but there is a recording of me watching this film, and
yeah, I didn't get a chance because I'm just tired lately.
Yeah, there's a lot of this. Okay, and interspersed with so it just they should have left it alone. They should have left it alone, or they should have done something else. And admittedly, because of my bias, if they would have called this something else, maybe I would have felt a little better about it. I still don't think it would have been any better of a story, and I don't think I would have been any more vested in the characters.
Okay. Anything else to say for you, Brandon, on that?
No, I completely disagree with that altogether, and say it was a very well done movie. I liked all the characters in it. I look.
You like doing
to do it.
It's like, I'm gonna see if I can make Brandon sway.
No.
So tell me, Brandon, when did he internalize the art? When did he internalize the importance of what the art was and what it meant and the thousands of years of tradition behind it? When did that come through?
I don't think that he necessarily has yet. I think if they do that, they're going to do more development for his character. Because, I mean, who honestly would get it in 6 months?
Daniel-san.
No. Not realistically. Realistically, no.
This is supposed to be a realistic film. I mean, it was it was a quirky story of two cultures and a young boy coming of age. I actually okay. So let's take a step back for a minute. I liked the way they told Han's story about his family. I thought what he did with the car was very meaningful. Um, where he would rebuild the car, and then on the date of the accident, he would destroy it. Um, that was a very meaningful thing, very symbolic, and I will say that was well done. In the original film, Miyagi lost his family, during the war, um, and there was really he had nothing to do with it. It's just something that happened to him. Whereas Jackie Chan's character actually actively was involved in the demise of his wife and child. So kudos on that. But again, just after that, it was like, oh, okay, we're back to being, something that I'm not interested in. Okay, so
all right, if you're using that scene, how do you think Jaden did in that scene when he came in and pulled Mr. Han out of that?
Much like the prop to Dante's right, he was very vanilla. It was. I didn't think he. Now, okay, so I will say this: it was very believable. He did act. He reacted the way I expect a child to react, which, eh. Now he did. When he brought the poles out and grabbed him by the hand, I thought that was hokey. Luckily that scene was over, and they just moved on to something else. But I'm done bashing it.
Okay.
So the two of you liked it. I don't even want to speak its name. It's like it just left a bad taste in my mouth. I believe the imagery behind me is, what the essence of the Karate Kid story was, not what this 2010 film did. And I will be happy to never see another Jaden Smith Karate Kid movie.
Okay. Well, got that out of the way.
So,
and he didn't die.
So let's go ahead and pick our next film.
All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, I didn't have to travel very far. I already got the cage. Look at that. All right. Oh, that was quick. All right, let's see. We have here. Oh, 69.
Oh.
Yeah. Da-da-da-da. Something to make Jose a little bit happier.
Transformers, really? I liked it.
I thought you liked it a lot.
I did, because it's the Transformers. But as a film, there's stuff to, things left to be desired.
Okay.
Michael Bay is not my favorite person, nor is Shia LaBeouf.
So. I guess. I think he's one of the greatest.
Aren't they signed on to do number 4 now?
I've heard something like that, and I don't care. I can.
Would you go see a 4th?
Yes, because it's Transformers.
Okay.
It's giant robots beating the shit out of each other. What's not to like?
When you say it like that, that sounds like you should watch more anime, but you don't do that.
Yeah. I don't like anime. It doesn't.
Yeah, but it's giant robots beating the shit out of each other. What's not to like?
Because it's not visually interesting.
Big O was decent for that. Gundam.
The Big O, get it?
Gundam was good.
Do you think it's a random happenstance that it was O69?
No.
Yes.
I don't know anything about any of the anime you're talking about, Brandon, so sorry. I believe I've told you this before. The only anime I've ever watched through an entire
Vampire Hunter D
episode was Vampire Hunter D, and that was okay.
I'm gonna say I have a giant Gundam on my wall, so if I could recommend a giant robot beating each other, up series, that would be it.
There was is it Gundam Wing? Is that the cartoon?
Yeah, I have that series.
I enjoyed the fight scenes.
Hero out there.
One of my friends that I lived with when I was in high school actually was into that series, and I could not watch the entire show, but I would fast forward and watch some fucking robots beat, But what I cannot stand is when they do, and they did this in cartoons. I actually did like back then, like Voltron and Messinger, was where they do the freeze spraying with the lines coming off. I was like, I cannot stand that stuff.
That's understandable.
So
you get to see. I think it was a lot of that in Dragon Ball Z too, wasn't there?
I wouldn't know.
Them yeah. Anyway.
So that's it.
Wildly off topic.
and that little bit that whole little thing offshoot there we just did, totally more interesting than the entire Karate Kid film, in my opinion. So next week, that's us, the Karate Kid, and on behalf of Dante and Brandon, I'm going to go ahead and say that's a wrap. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Or if you want to follow along with our antics when we're not in front of the camera, you can check us out on our social media pages on Facebook, Google+, or Twitter by searching for the M Cluster. Or you can leave comments in the field below. Or you can send us an email or give us a call. Heck, you can even write us a letter. Or you could buy us dinner. Or you could buy us a car. That would be awesome. Or you could send us on vacation. Or get us an Emmy. Ooh, a Tony. If you could get us a Tony, that would